Hello, everyone, and welcome back for some more Drag Race gossip, secrets, and drama. Today, I have with me a fabulous Puerto Rican princess who won our hearts when she competed on season 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race, and she also competed on season 2 of The Switch, which is the Chilean sister show of Drag Race. I'm super excited for you all to get to know her better and learn more about her amazing journey in drag. We'll, of course, be talking all things Drag Race, and I'll be asking some of the amazing questions you all sent in. So please join me in welcoming the always stunning Kandy Ho!
Hey,
Hi!
how are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing amazing, amazing. Back home, I was in California for 2 weeks, so it's good to be home, back with my animals, and just having the best time.
I don't know, you look great. You look very fresh faced, and you've got the really gorgeous hair and the plants. You're looking, you look
Oh,
very, very chic and sophisticated.
thank you, thank you. I feel like it's been a minute since I've done an interview like this. So I'm like, let me try to do it right, start right, painted just a little bit just to look nice and fresh, like I just woke up or something. So I had to do a little something.
Well, it worked. No, you look very fresh.
Thank you, thank you.
So my audience was so excited that I was interviewing you. I think because obviously it's been a minute since you were on Drag Race and then obviously on the Switch as well. But I think a lot of my audience will know you best from Drag Race, and season 7 is now kind of a while ago. It's one of the kind of, I guess, the early seasons. So I think people were really
Mhm.
excited to hear from you and what you've been up to since then. So I was just wondering if we could sort of go back to the start a little bit, and if you could tell us a little bit about Kandy and how Kandy Ho came to be and how you started drag.
Yeah, well, my drag actually started back when I was in Puerto Rico, but I'm originally from Connecticut and I was raised in Puerto Rico. So I've been a dancer. I love to dance. I was always competing in talent shows and doing all those fun things. And well, I my first time when I went to a club, I saw these amazing drag queens. One of them was Nina Flowers, and it was like so shocking, but it was so amazing. I was like hypnotized. I was like, oh my God, this is great. But I never saw myself doing it. I really appreciated the art. And just one day with a group of friends, we just decided to do the Pussycat Dolls for like a pride in San Juan. And that's how I started. And I fell in love with the art form. I felt so liberated. Like I felt so free. And I just started competing in beauty pageants, talents, and just doing it all. And I just decided to do RuPaul's Drag Race, and luckily I made it.
Well, then, yeah, I think that's a very common sort of way of people getting into drag. A lot of the time, it's with their dancers or they do something in the arts and the creative space, and then they go into drag. So, in terms of
Yeah.
then, you said obviously about going to drag race. You were living in Puerto Rico, so am I right in
Mhm.
thinking that you were living there and then you applied to Drag Race? And did you apply previously before season 7, or?
Actually, it was my first try, like my first audition. And it was wild to me because it's like I had done like all these pageants in Puerto Rico, these talent competitions, and I did Miss Continental in Chicago, which is it's a big pageant also. And I was like, okay, now what else can I do? And my sister April Carrion was on season 6, and I was like, okay, okay, I could probably do this. But in my mind also, I was going through a breakup, so it was like an easy escape. I was like, if I get to go, it's gonna help me so. And I auditioned and I made it, and it was so fast for me. It was like that I never really processed it.
I know I can imagine it must be quite crazy, especially I suppose if you're living abroad and then you sort of or in another country and then you have to come over and audition. It's obviously at the time season 7, by that point Drag Race was pretty famous, and it was, although it was still kind of in the early stages, it was quite famous at that point, and you'd had some really big
Yes.
people. Like season 6 was really popular. So I was just wondering, you mentioned one thing I was going to ask you about. You mentioned April Carry On, who obviously was on season six. Someone actually submitted a question. I was going to ask about this because I thought it was quite interesting. So on season six, April actually wore a T-shirt that said Kandy Ho on it. And I think obviously at the time
Yes.
people may not have picked up on it because we hadn't seen you on the show yet because you were on the next season. Did you, because obviously you're in
Mhm.
the same drag family, did you know that she was going to wear that t-shirt?
Actually, I remember April had made like shirts of all our drag house. Like she made one of my name, one of my other sisters, and I guess she decided to wear mine first, and it was just like perfect timing, I guess. It was just meant to be, really, I think.
Yeah, it was very sweet, and I did actually once. I did like a fun fact about that on Instagram because someone pointed it
Hmm.
out, and I had never noticed it before, and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool."
Yeah, a lot of people like mentioning, oh, it was planned, it was this, she wore it so she could make it on the show, and it was really just very natural. Like out of all the sisters, she chose mine and she wore it, made it on the show, and then I just made season seven. So it was meant to be.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. And there's been a few times contestants have done stuff like that, but I thought that was a really nice way to promote someone. And then we got to see you the next season. Uh, One thing I was
Yeah.
actually going to ask you about that's vaguely related to this is I don't know if you've ever heard, but there's this rumor that's been going around for years about the Puerto Rican queens. And I actually asked Madame Lequeer about this in a previous interview
Hmm.
because she's obviously from Puerto Rico as well. And a few people
Hmm.
mentioned this in the questions for you. So the rumor is that Puerto Rico had these drag houses that were really powerful, and they would basically control who was allowed to to audition for Drag Race. And the rumor for you specifically was that because April got on season six and she did okay, but didn't obviously get as far as you would want to, that apparently they were like really wanting you to go into season seven with like the storyline of being a villain so that you would get more airtime and stuff like that. I was just wondering if any of that is true.
No, no. There's no controlling at all. It's all just the production. Like, there's not much that we can do. I mean, we do have a voice and like, oh, that's a good girl, or she's amazing. But I think that it's just really a story that people maybe or someone just to say or think about. I don't know, but no, there's no manipulating of any kind of houses or nothing. It was just, I guess we were the best two at the time, and we made it. That's it.
It is quite a weird rumor, but quite a few people. I asked Madame Lequeer about it, and she said the same thing. She said, "No, there's no like it's complete rumor." But I just thought it was kind of
No, I mean,
interesting.
I can see that people would be like, oh, so April was on the show. She's gonna try to bring in whoever she wants. But at the same time, it took my talent to be on the show too. April could have done many things, but I was the one and I worked for my spot there. So there's just nothing. It was on my own and I worked for it.
No, yeah, definitely. And moving on to Drag Race, I'd love to sort of talk about that a little bit more. So you mentioned that it was the first time you auditioned and everything. So what was it like then so obviously you had to fly over to the US to film it. What was it like then walking in the door that first day and thinking I'm on Drag Race? What was that feeling like?
It was so crazy because I was so in the moment and feeling so natural about it, like feeling like I earned my spot here, that I was just so light. I don't know. I just felt like I'm meant to be here, but at the same time, I was like, what the hell am I doing here? I was like, it was just so many things going through my mind and just like going in the workroom and hearing the girls like talking that are already inside. You're like, oh my God, they're gonna see me for the first time. What are they gonna think about me? Just coming in, not knowing really how to do my makeup as much. I was like, how am I gonna make this work? It was just it was a lot. I had so much going on, but it was also a very nice moment that I got to express and show who I was as Kandy a little bit because there's so much more that I've really grown into and I've really changed. So, but getting in for the first time, it's an amazing experience. It feels so nice. It felt right, but I wish I had a more mature mentality when I was in the show.
Yeah, I can understand that. So when you walked in, and obviously then eventually you met the whole cast when everyone else had come in, did you know anyone from before?
I don't remember if Jasmine went before me or after me, but I knew Jasmine Masters because we both had competed in Miss Continental together. And well, I knew Miss Fame because she was very popular on YouTube. We all saw her videos doing her makeup, so I was like shaky. And uh, I think those two were the ones I was like really looking out for, and all the other girls were pretty much new to me.
Okay, so maybe you knew a couple of people, but yeah, still pretty intimidating to walk into a room
Yeah.
of drag queen, like very famous drag queens and everything, and you don't really know anyone. That must be quite intimidating.
Especially for me, because I was like, I know I'm a good performer, but like when you're in the room with all these big personalities and you're like, I'm very like to myself and I'm like, leave me alone. But when I'm on stage, I'm like, wow, I go wild. And then having those girls and so loud, and I was like, what did I get myself into? What is this? But I was just trying to be in the moment as myself, as free as I could be.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. One moment I think that is stands out for a lot of people, and a few people mentioned this in the questions, was in the entrances. The one bit that they really tried to push was you said to Tempest, like one of the first questions you said was, "How old are you?"
Tempest, she's an old-fashioned drag. She tries to be funny, I guess. So how old are you?
Oh! How old am I?
How old?
Really? Who the hell does that? Who in their first meeting says, how old are you?
And they tried to show that she was like a bit annoyed, and they pushed this storyline that you were being rude or ageist to her. I was just wondering what sort of prompted that. Is that how it actually happened, or was that editing to make it look different?
Do you think I would really say that? Actually, it was a conversation, and it's like I'm meeting you. Hello, what's your name? I'm Kandy. It was just a normal conversation that moment, I guess, was the moment to make me look the way that people saw me. And it was kind of upsetting because I know really how everything flowed. And just to see that, it's like, okay, did I get on the show to present my talent or did I get on the show to just be in this game? And I guess it's both, but I didn't really know how to really do it, play with it at the time. But no, it was a conversation. Hello, how are you? And so, how old are you? And then I don't know. They made it look the way they did.
From what you're saying, you were quite kind of surprised when you saw the edit that it made you maybe look a bit shadier than you thought you came across.
Yeah, because I mean, I didn't want that role of the shady girl because I know it brings a lot of negativity and it's really not me, I'm very laid back, leave me alone. I have a small group of friends because I try to avoid all that. So I knew being on that side of I was like, no, that's not going to be me because I don't want everything that comes with it. So, to see it and people be like, oh, you're this, you're that, how could you, how dare you, blah, blah, blah. It's like, but really, I didn't.
Well, yeah, that's fair enough. I guess it's difficult because going on a show, they're going to edit you to make you look a little bit different to how maybe it was in real life, but at the same time it's a TV show, so they need to do something to make it interesting. So unfortunately, you know but so
Hmm.
what's your relationship like with Tempest now then?
Oh my God. Well, we don't have like a chatting or talk like, but on Instagram, likes, and if we ever work together, see each other, I'm like, how are you? I always ask about her kids. I'm like, how are they? And we just have a normal conversation, normal, I guess, friendship. When we see each other, it's very respectful. I know that when she's on stage, she always uses me as, let's say this to get the crowd up. And before I used to be so upset about it, but at the same time, I'm like, well, it's part of the game and I'm gonna let you use it. Just use it carefully, don't be doing too much. But we have a nice relationship.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. Yeah, because I think they were obviously trying to push this storyline that you and her kind of had some tension because she then mentioned it later on the main stage. And I feel like they were really trying to push this narrative, but it was kind of obvious that maybe there wasn't really anything there. So
I mean, maybe, I don't know if I don't recall her ever telling me like she felt some way about it. So like I saw it when the show aired, like I really didn't know. So if she did feel some way about it, I don't remember her telling me anything. So I was like, well, girl, it is what it is.
no, that's fair enough. Moving on. So obviously we talked about your entrance and everything. So obviously you were there for I think 6 episodes on Drag Race on season 7. So I was just wondering if we could kind of go through a couple of the key moments maybe from your journey on that. So the first episode, obviously there was the mini challenge of the spring fall runways, and you had to show some runways, and then the maxi challenge was you had to do that kind of nude illusion thing. I was just because obviously, unfortunately, you were in the bottom that first episode, and you had to lip sync against Tempest. So obviously that was then the storyline again of like the Shady. I was just wondering what did that feel like that whole day of filming and doing all of the stuff? Like, did you know you were going to be in the bottom? Did you how was that experience?
Well, it's a super long day. It's very long. And well, actually we I think we got ready for the fall, maybe, for I don't remember, but it's really fast. They were like, you're gonna get ready, then you have to get in line, then you have to go to the back and you have to have everything. And first of all, like for me getting on Drag Race, I had very little help from friends and all of that. So like being on the show and getting all of my things ready was so crazy to me because my ex at the time was the person who used to sew for me, and then like I was like trying to like figure and find people from different places to sew, and it was a little hectic. So like those two being the first on the first episode, the fall, and the other one, I was like, oh my God, because they weren't really my favorites. They really weren't. But they were like, that was what I had. So it was like, so I'm trying to do this and trying to work this outfit that I really don't know myself about, but it's what I have because it was so crazy. It was a lot. It was a lot that I had to process, but I was just like, I'm here. What can I do now? I just gotta rock what I have. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, I guess I'll have to lip sync. And I did. I did.
Yeah, it was actually it was a good lip sync, and I think it was quite a nice sort of way for obviously you didn't get to show maybe your favorite looks, but I feel like you obviously are a performer and you got to then show that you're a performer in the lip sync. And I think that really is what sticks out in a lot of people's mind. Although you lip synced, I think 3 times on the show, you were really good at it. And a
Yeah.
lot of your lip syncs are really memorable even to this day. So I guess is that something that was really important to you?
Oh my God, yeah. I feel like my performance is everything because I feel like it's really who I am. Like when I'm on stage, it's a moment for me. It's a moment that I really appreciate every time. Like I love it. I love it. And that one with Tempest, especially like being the first one, and being Geronimo, which was a very difficult song to like learn in those short amount of days that they gave us, because they were like, here's this big old book of songs, learn them all if you don't know them, and it's gonna be random. And it was like Geronimo had to be the first one really like the lyrics are so fast, and it was like, oh my God. But I really like focused, and I really tried my best to learn the lyrics because it was my moment. I was like, if I'm gonna be on the bottom, I'm gonna really do what I came to do, which was show my talents and show what I can do and just give out an energy.
Yeah, and I think that's what you showed. You came alive during the performances because we didn't unfortunately see that much from you. Because I think one of the really big questions that a lot of people had for you, and a lot of people mentioned this, and maybe you know you're aware of this, but your run on Drag Race is kind of famous in a way for basically that you were not really shown very much. It's called like the Kandy Ho edit or the Kandy Who, I think people call it.
Yeah.
And so across the whole episodes that you were on, only 72 seconds of your confessionals, according to the Drag Race wiki, were shown. So I was just wondering, is that something that you felt when you watched it back? And how did that make you feel?
Well, to be honest, like, I mean, obviously they have a lot more recorded of me, but like I said, my mind was there, but at the same time, it wasn't. And I can see that maybe a lot of what I said in the confessionals maybe didn't work, or maybe I wasn't as wild and woo and this like the other girls, and it was maybe it's my fault a little bit, but I'm pretty sure if they edit things certain ways, they could have edited me in doing up, playing around with it too. So, but I feel like it was maybe on both sides. I feel like I could have done much more than I really did. But I feel like I said, I was in so many places and I was there, and it was a lot for me. It really was.
Yeah, because that's definitely become one of the things. I think your run on Drag Race has become one of those things. It's become almost like the thing if everyone says, "Oh, they got the Kandy Ho edit." In other words, that you didn't get shown much.
I've seen that. I've seen it.
No, and it's a shame because it would have been nice to see you a bit more. But like you said, I guess if you're not giving them the material because you're not that sort
Yeah.
of person, like if you're not a villain, you're not, you're a very zen person. I can see why maybe for the show they would kind of edit you out, but it's unfortunate because I think we would have liked to have seen a bit more of you.
I know. Especially back like when I'm gonna put my glasses on right quick because I really can't I see you, but I gotta see you better. Okay. I feel like especially when I was on the show, I didn't really know myself as much. Like, and I had never ever been by myself doing drag at all because we had a drag family, and when we wanted to do something, we had our sisters, and you know, he does my makeup, my friend does my hair, I didn't have to do any of that. So I was like so naive to so many things, and I was trying to learn everything at the same time. And that I was like, I really wish I would have shown more of myself, but it just wasn't in me at the moment. It really wasn't.
Yeah, I can understand that. And it's unfortunate, but I guess there's not much, you can do now.
Yeah. But I
But
see, I mean, I accept it. Like, I mean, it is what it is with the editing. And, like, from then on, I've tried to like build myself and try to be a more not wild person and loud because that's not me. I am loud because I'm Latin, but I'm not like, yes, girl, work. That's not who I am. And I thought that that's what I had to be or who I had to be, to kind of fit in. But I was like, but how do I fit in if I'm not like that? I was trying to figure myself out and do my drag all on my own at the same time. So I guess that's what had to happen.
yeah, and that's I can understand it. Unfortunately, I guess it's a TV show first and a competition
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. And I wish I would have known that because I come from competition. So for me, it was a competition and I totally forgot that it was TV. I was like, I want to perform. I want to dance. Let's do this. And then it was like, okay. And then on everything else, what are you going to give?
Well, speaking of dancing, one thing I wanted to ask about. So obviously, you were on the show, I think, for 6 episodes. One of the iconic moments from your run was during the DESPY Awards episode. You were in the bottom and you had to lip sync against Mrs. Kasha Davis. And I think that's gone down as being one of like the really, like, I feel like it's a really underrated lip sync. It's actually really good. You both did such a good job. And obviously you won the lip sync. So I was just wondering in that moment, how did it feel then? Because that was what, your second time lip syncing? So how did that feel?
I mean, being on the bottom again for me was so upsetting because I mean, I felt that I didn't do too bad. I thought I did okay. I mean, and my look on my runway wasn't the best, but it was pretty, and I felt pretty with all my sparkles and my feathers. But it was like, here I am again, I guess, you know. I kind of felt at the moment, I was like, they're just putting me on the bottom so I could just perform. And I was getting upset, but at the same time, I was like, well, this is kind of what I wanted to do. So it was like, it was crazy. And then having to go against Kasha. First time I had ever heard that song, I learned it there. And it was like, it was a lot. And I knew I was gonna win. I don't want to be like that girl. But I was like, baby, it was such a great song. I love the energy of the song, the vibe. It was sexy. And I was like, Kasha, I'm sorry. Sorry, baby.
It was a great lip sync, and it definitely, I think, is underrated, and it's such a good lip sync. You both did a good job. You both did it in different ways, but you were just like hitting every beat. You were really showing your performance skills, which was, and I feel like it was quite a big turning point in how people saw you in the competition, because I think before we didn't get to see you much in the edit, and then we saw you in the lip sync, and we're like, oh, she can perform. She's really good.
Really wants to see me perform. That's what they want. I was like, well, I guess it's what I'm gonna have to do.
Yeah, no, and you did. One thing that is quite interesting about that lip sync is I interviewed Mrs. Kasha Davis a while back about this, and there was this bit in the edit where at the end of the lip sync, Kasha like turns and goes to like hug you, but you turned the other way and they put that little shady music in.
Ladies.
I was just wondering if that is actually is that a deliberate thing, or did you just not see her do it?
I really don't remember seeing her. I really don't. I was like, the song ended and I was like, I guess I still had the energy in me that I really don't remember like seeing her like want to hug me or anything. I didn't feel it from her either. So I was like, whoop, let me go to my side. Let's see who stays. I just want to know who's going to stay and who's going to go. We'll hug later. We'll hug later.
Okay, yeah, so it wasn't deliberate. It was just because they put the little shade sound effect in it to make it look like you were being like the villain again, you know, getting rid of another one of the older queens, because you'd already, you know, beat Tempest and got rid of her, and now you were getting rid of Mrs. Kasha Davis.
I know.
So that was a really good lip sync. And one of the other challenges I wanted to talk about, which I think was one of the ones that people remember the most, was the acting challenge, the whatever happened to Merle Ginsburg one. And they kept showing that one line of you saying, "Mother does not play that." And you and they kept showing it over and over again of you getting it wrong. I was just wondering if that was actually how it happened, or was that kind of edited to make it look like you were doing worse than you were?
Can I get my line, please?
Mother does not play that.
Mother does not play
that.
Oh, play that. Mother does not play
that.
I remember maybe missing once, maybe twice, but I don't remember twice, maybe once. But they made it look like I forgot all the time. I was like, I mean, okay. I was like a little cuckoo at the time, but I knew what I was doing, and I know that I did it maybe once. I said it wrong. But they had to do what they had to do.
And that was the episode, unfortunately, I think, where you went home, right? And you lip synced against Gia Gunn?
Yes.
So, which was also a great lip sync. That is a really good lip sync.
Yes.
Did you think you were going home in that episode?
Actually, no, because I mean, we had seen like the recordings, and I felt like Miss Fame was the one who really didn't deliver. Like, she was struggling, like, and I felt that, I mean, at the moment it was like, I don't think I'm the one who should be here. But if I gotta do it, I'm gonna do it. And when they told us the song, I was like, okay, well, we're gonna do it. And she hadn't, I don't know if she had released the song or it was new or it was coming out or, so it was like Break Free was fresh. So I was like, let's do it. Let's do it. And I remember dancing in my hotel room, just learning the lyrics, just back and forth, back and forth. It was crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah, because also she was the Ariana, because it was an Ariana song, Break Free. She was the guest judge, right? So you had to perform it in front of her.
I know. And it's so, I don't know why I wasn't that present when I was there. Like, I wish I was like, oh my God, it's Ariana Grande. But I'm so like very aware of other people's space and stuff that I'm like, I see you, girl. I love you. And on the inside, I'm fangirling. But I was just like, I just got to get this song right. You know, in my mind, it wasn't even about seeing Ariana Grande. It was like, I just need to get this right. And, but afterwards, when she was like, she wanted to meet me and all, I was like, wait, is she coming to see me to say hi? And I was like, okay. So I did it. So it was a sad moment, but when she came up to me, it really lifted me up, and I was like, okay, this is fine. It's fine.
And so, yeah, unfortunately, that was the end of your run on Drag Race in terms of competing. You came back and did the Conjoined twins makeover thing, and you were with Miss Fame. I was just wondering, when did you find out that you were all coming back? Like, were you told as soon as you were eliminated that you had to stay, or did you go home and then got called back to do it?
I think some of the girls had to go home, like the early queens. Since I had like been eliminated recently, I didn't have to return home. So I stayed in and for like maybe 1 or 2 days until the next episode was gonna be recorded. And that's when they didn't even tell us that we were all gonna come back. It was just like, we're all here and we're trying to just make it in again. But like, no lie, and some people may be like, oh my God, why? But I was like so over it. I'm like, I want to go home. I've been eliminated already. Don't do this to me again. I was like, I just want to go. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do the best I can. But I was just so over it already. I was like, I need my home. I need my family energy. I needed my cats. I was like, I want to go.
Yeah, I can understand that, because like you said, it wasn't actually that long between when you were eliminated and then that episode. So you probably had already kind of mentally checked out a little bit, and then you have to come back again.
Yeah. And especially like they have us like caged animals, kind of. It's like we're so away from the world at that moment. And I mean, I'm okay with it. I signed a contract for it and all, but it's like, oh my God, like I'm in this room for so long all by myself. Like, what can I do? There's only so much you can do in a room. And I literally saw the Twilight Saga, I don't know how many times, and I'm literally over it. Like if I'm skipping the channels on TV and I see Twilight, I'm like, no. I was just like, I need to go home. But I'm super thankful to have done that that next Conjoined Twins challenge with Miss Fame, because she's someone who I really respect as an artist and as a makeup artist. She's just perfection. And to have her do my mug and my face, and I felt fierce. So I was so happy for that.
Unfortunately, although we didn't get to see enough of you, I think you left a lasting impression, and people really still are really curious about you and, want to see you. And that I wanted to, we'll talk about the switch in a second, because that's obviously the next part. But I first just wanted to ask, my channel is called Drag Tea Served. So I was wondering if you could serve us some drag tea about Drag Race, and tell us maybe an unaired moment or something that happened on set that you wish had been shown that didn't get shown.
I actually think a really crazy moment for me to add to the craziness of me being on the show was that when I was on the first episode that we did, the Naked Illusion, I had like the big hair, like ball of hair or whatever. I was like literally spraying black spray and it started to drip all over my face right before I had to go on the runway almost. So just having that moment and being like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Don't panic. You gotta be on stage soon. Don't let it keep dripping. Don't let the other girls see because you don't want them to see you like looking all crazy. I wish people could have seen that moment. Probably they would have maybe connected with me in some other way. Been like, oh my God, girl, like I don't know. It was a moment for me that it was crazy that I wish that people would have seen.
Yeah, I think those sort of backstage moments can be really fun because it shows you what a struggle it is
Yeah.
for the queens to get ready in such a short period of time. It's so much stress.
It's crazy. I had to end up putting that piece of hair on my forehead that people didn't know that, but that's really what happened, and that's why I had to have my forehead covered.
Oh, thank you so much. We talked about Drag Race. What I'd love to get onto is briefly is talking about the Switch, which some of my audience may have heard of, but maybe not know that much about. I've watched a little bit of it. So it's basically the Chilean version of Drag Race, or the sister show, which you were on.
Yes.
Which obviously, so it was a Spanish-speaking show. So I was just wondering what that experience was like compared to Drag Race, and what did it feel like to get on that show?
Actually, like, I didn't know anything about Chile, and I'm so upset about that every time I say it, because it's like, how do I not know about my other Latin family? But it was like so new to me. I hadn't seen the first season. I received an email like, we have the show. This is our second season, and we want to bring girls from other places. And I was like, okay. So they started sending me videos of the first season. I started looking up the other girls, like La Botota and all these other girls. And I was like, okay, this looks legit. Let's see. And little by little, they was like, do you sing? Because it's very important that you sing because we have a big stage and you have to show your talent, your vocal talents. I was like, yes, because I really love to sing. And I was like, let's do this. But I didn't know nothing. It was a different culture. I'm all alone, meeting all these new people, and it was a lot. But I felt like I really appreciated more that moment, especially because I was free. I was able to like record, and then on the weekends we were able to like live our lives, which was amazing.
One thing that there was a couple of people who asked this question, and I was going to ask it because it's quite interesting. So one of the other contestants on your season of The Switch was Gia Gunn, because she can speak Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously Gia is, great TV. She's very dramatic. And there was quite a famous moment during the kind of Untucked version where she had a really big like argument with another queen. And like, you were obviously you were kind of just there. You like not as necessarily involved that much. What was that like during filming? Like, what was it like then seeing Gia Gunn like argue with people? And was that how it really was? Like, was she really that, crazy on set, or was it kind of edited to look different?
Ridícula. Dile otra vez.
No me busques.
Dile otra vez.
Esclavo. Tu nombre. Yo soy un hombre. A mí me encanta.
I don't like to bash other girls, but like, having Gia there was amazing. Like, at least having someone that I knew that I had worked with already, I was like, okay, that makes it easy for me. But at the same time, Gia loves TV. Gia's a diva, and it's not easy for other people to accept that energy because it's a high energy, all the time. And it's like, I'm in your face and you got to hear me and I'm doing this and I'm doing that. And it comes to a point where I'm like literally the opposite, but I'm like just holding it all in until it's like, girl, I need a break. And like, she's a diva. She doesn't know when to turn her diva off. She's a diva all the time. And it rubs people the wrong way. And I think it got to a point where it rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And, you guys didn't see probably half of the fights and arguments that we had with her on the show because it was just kind of toxic at times. Like, girl, come on now. But she's also has a sweet side, but she loves TV and she likes standing out and she does it, she does it, she makes you feel it. And sometimes it's just like, girl, come on now. So that's why we were always arguing and fighting. I had a huge argument with her when I was on the show also, and they didn't air it. But it's just something that it's just she's a diva and it's hard for like to just have that energy all the time around you.
Yeah, well, one of the questions was, what is your relationship like with Gia now?
Actually, after being on the show, I'm like, I've seen her maybe when I go to California, you know, West Hollywood. Maybe I've seen her once or twice, but I don't even know if she lives there. But I don't know. I'm just like, you do you, I do me. We see each other. Hey, bye. And that's it for me. I'm good. Because I don't know, it's just not my cup of tea. Or she isn't, at least.
But that's fair. I mean, she's, like you said, she's dramatic, but she's also great TV. So it's kind of, you know, you've got it. That's the problem. So you mentioned that you had an unaired argument with her. Can you remember, like, what was that even about?
I don't remember. I mean, I feel like it was already energy that I was just like, it was already like creeping. And I remember it was actually when I had to sing Christina Aguilera. I don't know, maybe she said something or I don't know. It just really rubbed me the wrong way that I was just fed up. I was just over it. And I'm like, I was ready to like, boop, 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 boop. I was like, I can't because I'm like, I'm an anxious person, but I'm like, I keep everything balled like really, really in. And when I explode, I'm like, no, I just can't. And I'm glad nothing happened, but I was ready. I was really ready. Just the comments and the diva attitude, it just got to a point where I was just fed up.
I can understand that. And yeah, difficult when it's on, and you're in such a kind of really high pressure situation on TV as it is. They want you to explode a bit because it makes good TV. So they're trying to do that. So, you know, unfortunately.
They didn't use it though. I was like, I'm giving y'all TV, but y'all not using it.
Well, I was going to say, were you a bit like annoyed that they didn't show it, or were you thankful they didn't show it?
I'm thankful now that they didn't, because I'm like, I probably won't want people to see me that way. Because I was upset and I was like in her face. I was like, so I'm happy now that they really didn't.
Yeah, I can understand that. Well, thank you so much. I'd love to move on to the questions from my subscribers, because there were so many questions. Because there were so many questions, we'll go through them all, like the ones that I picked out, but for time reasons, we'll only show a few of them, and then the others ones will be on my Patreon as like a bonus, because it will take too long. But so we're gonna go through the questions. So just in case if anyone doesn't see the question they asked, it may be on the Patreon, so check that out. So one of the ones I'd first like to start out with is from my Patreon member, Ashley. And they asked a question which a lot of people asked, which was, would you ever go back to Drag Race for an All-Stars?
Oh my God, definitely. I feel like I've given my chance to grow so much. I found so many new talents that I didn't even know I had. Like, from being the bearded queen from season 7's first episode, like I love doing my makeup now, and it's a process that I enjoy, and it's something that I've really worked on. And, you know, just watching videos from, you know, makeup artists that I really love, like Nikki Tutorials and all these amazing artists like Jeffree Star, and just really finding myself. I feel like I've done that. I do my own wigs now. I'm super creative now, and I feel like I have so much more to offer. And not only like being a fierce performer, like I really found myself. So I feel like I'll do good if I'm ever on the show, but I would definitely love to be back.
I think you're definitely one of those people. I think people would be really fascinated to come back, because we didn't get to see you much, but you changed quite a lot. Yeah. And like you said, there was the whole thing about the beard coverage, and like that was you like kind of known as the bearded queen. But it'd be I think people would really love to see you, so we get a chance to really
Yeah.
get to know the real Kandy Ho.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, people don't know that I literally, like I said, I'm gonna audition for RuPaul's Drag Race, and I just bought makeup. I didn't have any makeup of my own, and I was learning like while the process was going and all, and I'm like doing my makeup every single day, but it was my journey, and I was like, oh my God, it was a wild makeup, like no lie, but it's all I knew how to do. I was like, this is all I know. But once Michelle told me, like, I was like, okay, I could fix this. So I tried it. I started like figuring it out, but it was tough. It was tough in the beginning.
Yeah. And then in the one episode where you did fix it, you then had to wear an actual beard because it was a bearded runway as well.
Yeah, it was. Well, yeah, it was a bearded runway, exactly. And I still have that beard actually. It's saved. It's like this can't go. It's forever in my memories and in my hands. I like every time I'm cleaning my drag stuff, I'm like, oh, here you are, and I just put her back.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice like sort of memento and memory of that.
Yes, yes.
There's a question that's kind of related to that. So someone said, what do you wish that we saw from your time on Drag Race that we didn't get to see? Which is kind of related to the All Stars. Like if you were coming back to All Stars, what is like the thing you'd really like to showcase that you didn't get a chance to showcase on season 7?
I feel like I would just show, I mean, that I'm a very approachable person. Sometimes people see me and they may think just because I'm so to myself, like I literally grew up all alone. I had a bunch of cousins, but I'm very to myself. But I've learned that you don't make connections like that. So I wish I could just like go on and just be myself, but in a different way. Because I was being myself on season 7. It was just I was kind of rocky and unstable. So now I would just be on the show and be myself and show the creative side that I'm even exploring and learning myself. Like sometimes I do things and I'm like, oh my God, like I ended up doing this. Like I had to do a show not so long ago when I went to California, a Comic-Con, and I was like, I want to do the Riddler. And I ended up doing his outfit and doing the whole paintings on it. And I was like, oh my goodness, like I could do this, and I just wish people could see that. And I would really show that if I were on the show again. Like you could be at a point in your life that you may struggle, but I've really worked very hard for where I am right now. And I would love people to see that.
Definitely. I think that's the main thing we would love to see from you. And that's what All Stars is such a good opportunity for, especially because it's been quite a while since you were on the show. Season 7's kind of one of the original seasons now at this point. So it'd be really lovely to see you come back. And, someone like Mrs. Kasha Davis recently, on All Stars 8 came back. And again, someone from kind of a long time ago came back. And it was really nice to see her. And I think people would love a chance to see you do that as well. So let's hope that you get the call for All Stars.
Let's see.
One of the other questions that's sort of similar to what you mentioned, obviously, the fact that people maybe think that you're not as approachable because on Drag Race, there was like a couple of times they tried to give you the Shady edit. Someone said, did you ever deal with any backlash and criticism for sending Mrs. Kasha Davis and Tempest home? Like, did you ever get any kind of criticism for that?
Yeah, and I mean, lately I haven't. But all the time, yeah, just I feel like they really thought I was going for the older queens, that people kind of reacted like who the hell do you think you are, coming for the older generation that they were here before you? And it's like it's something that I've had to like learn to ignore, and just I feel like I had to kind of like reset my whole everything, the way I think, the way I manage my Instagram, the way I do everything, just because I try to stay as focused and balanced as I can. And I feel like being on the show can bring a lot, and it brings a lot of beautiful things. And I'm so blessed to still be doing traveling and working and still being creative, but it brings a lot of negativity also that people know, and they're like, yeah, it's tough, but you don't know unless you're on the show, you know. And it's tough at times. It makes you doubt who you are. It makes you doubt sometimes, like, the performer who you want to be, and it's tough. Like, I feel like being a loner kinda really helped me kind of focus again. I really shut everything out. I shut everybody out for a moment. And I'm so grateful that I still have friends, because I literally shut everybody out. I was like, I need my moment. I need to be a Kandy 2.0 if this is what I want to keep doing. And I've done that. And I feel like it's good and it has its bad sides, but I just have to find my way around it.
Another question that came out that was quite interesting was, so there was a rumor about you that apparently you were supposed to be you were an alternate, or you were supposed to be on All Stars 8 to either be on the cast or to be a lip sync assassin. I was just wondering if that was true. Someone said, do you still keep in touch with any of the contestants from The Switch and also, I guess, Drag Race as well? One last question was, someone said, which cost more, The Switch or season 7? Well, thank you so much for answering my questions. I just want to get on to my quick fire round of questions. So they're just like 5 silly questions. First answer that comes to your head, like quick round of questions, just like silly stuff. Lipstick or lip gloss?
Lip gloss.
Yes or no, pineapple on pizza?
No, no. And I'm from the island and I love pineapple, but no, I want my pineapple to be refreshing.
Favorite emoji?
Ooh, I'm always sending the face with the heart kisses a lot to my friends all the time.
Cocktail or champagne?
I like my champagne.
And can you summarize your experience on Drag Race and The Switch in one word?
That's hard. I would say, like, I don't even know how to say it in English, but like locura, like craziness, like wild for me. One word, wild, crazy.
Thank you so much. It's been so lovely speaking to you. And it's like I said, I think we would love to see you back on the show, because you didn't unfortunately get the edit that we would have liked to have seen. But I think we would love to see you now and how far you've come since then. In terms of where can people find you, like social media, and do you have any projects coming up that you want to talk about?
Well, right now I'm really focused on like my Instagram, so it's ho_Kandy. That's where I'm like really posting like my shows and all that. Like I'm really working on I'm doing California at least 3 times a year, just getting out there again, and like, if y'all want to book me, y'all can go to kandyhobooking@gmail.com. Let me know and we'll make it work, and just be myself and doing my thing and working. Super grateful that I'm also able to like have my relaxing days, and it's great that I'm still able to balance both like my boy daily life and my other Kandy side. But yeah, find me on Instagram. I think that's pretty much where I'm at. Nowhere else.
Great. And do you have any like projects coming up or anything? Or
Actually, I'll be in Tampa this month, but you'll have to follow me on Instagram because I really don't remember the dates. And I'll be in Hard Rocks, Tampa also. I have a couple gigs coming up, but I just don't remember the dates. But I just want to say to you, thank you so much for reaching out. It means a lot, because, you know, people that like me who weren't as seen on the show, you know, we get to have a platform like yours. So thank you for inviting me. It really means a lot. And I'm so happy that we got to make it work. I'm so happy you feel better and that we got to do this. But just just thank you for just giving me the opportunity to have a voice again, and so people could see another side of me, and just see that I've grown and that I still do this beautiful thing we call drag because I love it and it makes me happy, and I really love to see other people happy and react when they see me. It's a feeling that it's very personal, like seeing the reaction of other people, and just very grateful, super grateful, and I appreciate that you really send me a message to do this because I really need to do this all over again. I was kind of like, I need to warm up all of a sudden again. I'm like all like shaky. I'm like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna say? I'm always like so anxious, but it was so easy to talk to you. So thank you.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. No, it was, I really like, I remember thinking I really want to speak to especially queens who from the original seasons and also queens that didn't get the edit maybe that we would like. And you were one of the first people that came to my head because, the Kandy Ho edit is like famous of like, you didn't get enough, like we wanted way more screen time. So I was like,
I think really that's going to be on my shirts now. The Kandy Ho edit. That's going to be my new merch.
No, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure to speak to you. And I was just wondering, to see us out, I was wondering if could you maybe give us your best rendition of Mother Does Not Play That?
Mother does not play
That.
Okay, like I did it on the show. Kinda. Okay, let's see if I remember. Mother does not play that. I think it was something like that. Oh my God, I hadn't said that in so long. It felt weird.
That was so good. Thank you so much, Kandy. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.